Hello guys, I kill you here again once again with another episode here in a creative world, and we have Hermitron Pack Booster Loader 2.0 here. I've come up with a couple ideas over the last few days, and we made our first design, and then we noticed some of the flaws on the first design, and we've come up with a few ideas. If you've seen some previous videos I've put out, you've seen that we've come up with efficient ways of splitting items not only into even numbers, one's an odd, but even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8. But we have now figured out an efficient way to split items into odd numbers through a system, and so we've implemented that into this, and we've also implemented quite a few other upgrades. So I'm going to take you around the device now and let you check it out and see what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, here as we come up to the machine, we see that we have the lights in the floor, and these lights in the floor indicate that there's nothing in our system right now. So we're going to walk up here and notice we've got 3 boxes to input, and we're going to come up to our common box, and this is the one that we should input first always. We have our on and off button here, so we're going to go ahead and turn on the system on. But as you notice, apart from the piston sounds you heard there's not a whole lot going on right now, and that's because there aren't any items in the system, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. It locks itself out. These torches are what turn the lights on or off, and so the torches up here on the on state, these are in the same state in the torch tower, and so if any one of these torches are on, this redstone light's can be powered and come around and lock our clock back here so that it will not run any longer. So once any section, any input has been emptied of items, this machine will stop automatically. It will not continue. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and we are going to load our uncommon system, or our common system first. And you should probably always load it first. It's got a good reason for it. Then we're going to come load our uncommon, and then we're going to load our rare and our mythic, and we're just going to put 1 stack in that. Now, as you've noticed, now finally they've all turned off. Now, in just a minute, you'll hear the system ding telling us that it's working. And we will wait for that noise. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for a second noise, which we're not going to get because our shulker box isn't down there. And because we don't have a shulker box, now we have this light on because we have items in the hopper that loads it. And they come up here. But the neat thing is now, if we come back here, this is a circuit that operates the loading and braking of, this circuit here operates the loading and braking of the shulker box, which is just over here on this soul sand. But there's, as you can see, there's not one. So originally we didn't have a couple of these things that I've added. Once the shulker box is loaded, once the shulker box is broken and a new one is replaced, this will go off. And because there wasn't one in the system to begin with, it couldn't be broken, and because it wasn't broken, then a new one couldn't be added, if that makes any sense. Because once items are in that hopper there, which is taking a signal off of that comparator, which runs into a pulse lengthener. The pulse lengthener then inverts the torch. When it's on, there will be no power on the torch, and therefore can't break anything. So it's never completed a circuit. It's never even tried to fire the piston that breaks the shulker box. Same thing happens here because it's on. This inverted torch will not power this line, which resets the shulker boxes. And also, while this is powered, we run a signal up through here back to our clock, turning it right back off. And so until the shulker box is loaded and broken, we can never produce another one. So you'll never have a misfired system where you'll have one or two items in it. It will always shut off with the required items in the hopper waiting to be loaded. And so we have a button here which we could fire and put a new shulker box in. As you can see, we do have some in the line, but we've also ran that same power line. Let's see if I can get up here. Sorry. Also ran that same power line across here, and we have this sticky piston with these slime blocks and a redstone block on the end all the way up here to our button. And so our button comes through, our button comes through to this redstone, to that repeater, and into this piston and down, and fires a shulker in. So we get our second ding because it's loaded, broken. There's another one added. Good. When you press the reset button, you will get a light. You'll get a ding from the finish sound telling you that it's there as well. So there's our second one started. Our items in the system. There's our second one finished. Good. Now, because of the way the circuitry is ran in this area, it's very important that you only use normal chest. If you use trap chest, it will fire the systems that operate the on and off switch, and it'll fire the systems that run the shulker box, and you'll always end up with a few mispacked boxes. Now, next thing to show you is this loading system for the commons. It's a lot more complicated now, as you can see. So it comes in here, goes through these hoppers, down into this chest. There's a hopper there and this dropper. And we have a water source block directly under the dropper, and these pistons are determining which direction the water can flow. So once the piston is risen and the redstone block touches the dropper, then items are then dispersed in that particular direction. We have this comparator reading a signal, and it's going to tell us if we have items in that dropper or not. If we don't have items in the dropper, it'll allow this torch to turn back on, powering this line, which comes up here and turns the power on that, which will lock this hopper here with an item in it, which will power this line that goes up, turning that torch off. That one will be on, off, down through here, which will turn this one on, which will lock this clock and stop this system from running. Now, how this system runs is we have a dropper, a hopper, a dropper, a hopper, a dropper, and one item running through this system, and on the back side we have nothing but hoppers running them back around. So essentially it works like a clock, and every time this clock fires, it fires this line of redstone here. Well, a dropper won't put an item inside of a hopper unless it's given a redstone signal. So every time, as you can see, this one's lit up. When it fired, it allowed it to move to the dropper, to the hopper, and into this dropper, which allowed that one to fire. And these will stay on until the redstone signal comes again, which is what fires each one of these pistons. As you can see, this one is, well, let's wait till it comes back over here. Alright. Alright, okay, so that one turns off, which raises the piston, which fires the dropper, and the water goes that direction. It's fairly simple if you understand what's going on here. Same thing works around the whole thing, and it's a fading comparator clock that operates it. This is why you want to load your commons first. It'll keep up with the system, but if you give it a head start, it helps. Our second loading system, we just make sure that it's a double chest, a trapped double chest, loaded into these two hopper lines coming down. And then, of course, they split around that way so that they can load both droppers. Fairly simple stuff. Of course, we're putting inventories over top of our empty hoppers to prevent lag, and this one's straightforward. Pretty much other than that, I believe everything's the same, except for having added the sounds and the locking mechanisms to prevent fail. We've also added the monostable here, which helps ensure that it works properly every time. We also added our line to add shulkers to the system there. And if we come here, we can add shulker boxes to our system. Just add a few, whatever, and we'll see they go down. Now let's look and see what we're getting. Yep, every one of these should be exactly the same. The order may be a little different. Not one fail through nearly 18 shulker boxes loaded. Let's see what this one is when it comes in. Come on. 18 shulker boxes ran while we've been talking and not a single fail. Alright, in case you didn't see the other video, I think I explained it earlier, but it's not possible for it to fail unless, even with lag, it shouldn't fail, because all these systems work together to prevent the failure. And I've also added ice streams. Adding the ice stream quickened the items through the system, which, well, even more ensured we can actually run it faster, but the speed we have kind of ensures that it doesn't break. And you know, we've been talking for maybe 10 minutes and we already have 18 boxes. That's 20 boxes. It's pretty quick. So that's about all I need to show on the system. So if you are confused about any of it, or you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, ask me, and if you really want, I can probably come up with a block by block tutorial, but it might take me a little while, because this is, you know, it's a simple but kind of complicated system, if you know what I mean. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, if you liked it, you know what to do. You gotta hit that button that says LIKE. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button for me, guys. It helps me out a lot. And you know, I don't want to be a like baiter, but you know, and without likes, nobody sees these videos. I mean, you probably ran across it by accident because I'm fairly new. And you know, please subscribe, you know, because you'll get more content like this one in the future. And I just want to say thank you, and feel free to comment me with redstone questions. I'm not the best in the world, but I'd like to be helpful. That's what community's about. That's why I love Minecraft. We can learn from each other. Alright, guys, I hope you had a great time with the video, and that's about all I have time for. Bye!